another episode of Where's the Remote? I'm your host, Steven. I'm joined here with my tired co-host, Régine. How are you
Okay.
doing? That's what you told me, he was tired.
I did, but then I didn't think you were gonna say it again.
I try to like come up with like adjective for you every week, but it's hard
Yeah.
sometimes
No,
because
this
we
week I'm definitely exhausted, I'm not gonna lie.
see. So how I'm the bad guy for stating factual information?
Because our audience don't need to know that I'm actually exhausted. Like, I need to fake it until I actually make it until, like, I'm not exhausted, but it's, like,
Okay,
not
I'll bleep it out as if I said a curse word.
whatever.
How was your weekend?
It was long. It was fun, it was great. I skied for the first time ever in my life.
Look at you doing white people shit.
And it's exactly that. It's exactly that. It is exactly that. We should not be doing it at all. Like, everything about skiing from for someone that has a control problem, for for someone that has a control problem, like, skiing is not for me. Like,
Mm.
the physics of it all when it comes to skiing, nah. It don't like, mentally, it's like, "Oh, this is insane, a insane thing that you're doing." Have you ever skied before?
I do not participate in
Okay.
extreme sports.
Don't do it, don't do it. The thing about skiing is you have gravity,
Uh-huh.
you have ice,
Uh-huh.
you have balance,
Tree. Trees.
trees, your weight. When I say it's just so many factors to it. Also, your feet are in something, so it's not like you
Mhm.
can just jump off or get your feet out. It's too much, and when you fall, you got the skis in the air.
That visual is crazy.
You got the skis, and it's just, like, so many things about it. Also, you can't stop because also you're on an incline, on ice, and
Decline. Yes, yes.
do you know what happens on that? They say pizza they say pizza fries, pizza fries, pizza fries. Pizza is not a real thing.
What the hell is that?
Pizza is supposed to slow you down.
Uh-huh.
Supposed to slow you down. It was not slowing me down. I fell so many times. I ran into a man. Thank God I ran into that man. Like, shout out to that man. Because if he was not there for me to run into him, I don't know where I would have ended up. Once I ran into that man, he was with his little girl, I said, "You know what? I tried. It's not for me, and I won't ever do that again." So, there's
Uh,
that.
uh,
It's cute though, the photos people be doing, it's cute. It is not.
yeah.
It's not.
And I mean,
And it's
yes,
dangerous as shit, by the way.
of course. You definitely could like seriously injure yourself, like
Seriously injure
tear
yourself.
ligaments, break something like that's legit. Um Yeah, I mean, obviously, when you talk about like black culture, we have, what we deem white people shit. And I will say, I do appreciate when, our people jump into shit that we're not necessarily known
Right,
for, in any form of like extreme sports or
right.
whatever. So I'm not mad at it, but I always look at it as like, I don't know where the fun factor is in that. Like, I don't know how that's like stimulating in any sort of capacity, especially with all the things you just mentioned of like, and then you
It's
also, you're
I think
learning on the fly. It's not like, I guess it's kind of sort of, it's going to sound crazy.
no, it's not.
It's going to sound, yes, it's going to sound crazy because it's kind of sort of like riding a bike in terms of like, you got to keep trying in order to get good at it.
Correct.
But I also feel like extreme sports are like really, really specific. So
They
it's
are.
like,
How often are you gonna try? How often are you
yeah,
gonna test this skill and really handle this skill? How often are you gonna do that?
yeah. So it's like, I know, well, I could be wrong, but I think the way you're supposed to slow down is like you move your body to the side a little bit and
Yeah,
like
you
you
have to,
move
like,
your
bend
leg.
your knees and stuff.
Yeah. And it's like, but that's not a normal sort of reaction that you do,
Not when
you
you
know?
have boots, because you have these ski boots that you
Right.
have,
That's also another thing. Like
and
you
it
have these
goes
boots.
pretty high up, and it's very hard. It's not flexible, it's pretty hard.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like, when you fall, you're really falling from your knees down. You're not even falling from your ankles down. You're falling from your knees down. Everything about it, mm-mm. If I can't
Yeah.
stop something, like on a bike, at least when you pedal backwards, you're stopping immediately when you
Right.
pedal backwards. There's nothing for you to stop. Like, you have nothing the sticks is not helping you because if you're going fast, sticks ain't gonna do nothing for you.
Mhm.
Only thing is, like, your body, but, like, if you're to your point, if you're not using that skill often, your head is not saying, "Yeah, do
Yeah,
this."
your muscle, because all any sort of like sport or like I guess strenuous activity, there's definitely a level of like muscle memory. So
Yes.
it's like, oh, basketball, you form shoot,
Yeah.
or soccer, football, whatever other sports. But like extreme sports is like really specific. It's not
Yeah.
necessarily muscle memory there unless you're actually doing that all the time.
It's
But
def
you know,
it's definitely an adrenaline thing, like 100% adrenaline thing.
yeah, I'm not
Like,
an
you have to be
adrenaline
like an
junkie.
I'm not either. Like, I love
Yeah.
myself, I love my health, I love my wealth. I would never putting myself in something
Yeah.
like that, like, yeah, no, mm-mm.
Yeah.
You have to be a adrenaline junkie to do something like that because your life is 100% on the line, and you have to make sure that you ain't gonna kill yourself while you're doing it. There's that.
Yeah. Well, you know, more power to you and everybody that's indulging. I will
Yeah,
not participate,
I
but
don't do that.
more power to y'all.
Mm-mm,
More
mm-mm,
power to y'all.
mm-mm, mm-mm.
But I'm glad you had a good adventurous weekend. Um, I think we should just get the ball rolling
Yeah, let's
because
we got a lot to talk
we
about.
we got a lot to talk about. As we promised y'all, Q1, which I hate to even use that term because that's definitely a corporate term. But
Very corporate.
Q1 is it's gonna be very busy for us. So we're going to be covering A Night of the Seven Kingdoms that came out yesterday, which would be Sunday, since this will drop on Tuesday.
Mhm.
Hijack came out last week, the first two episodes, and then we already covered um episode 1 of season 2 of The Pit, and of course we have episode 2 for that. So I think, well, before we even get there, I unfortunately, or I guess fortunately for those who care, I have a mini rant.
Okay,
Um
before you get there, I will have to disclaimer, why did I not see both episodes on my
both
Apple TV?
episodes both
Right.
episodes of what? Of the
Hijack, why did I not see that? For on my end, it only gave me
wait,
episode 1.
I mean that might be a typo. That
No,
might
don't tell me
be
that.
I may have no, I think it's only one episode. I
Okay,
Yeah,
because 'cause
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like,
My bad.
I
My bad.
swear
My
yeah,
bad.
I'm not prepared for this, Steven, I'm sorry, I'm
Yeah,
telling you.
typo and I misspoken. My bad. Um,
Please.
but yes, I do have like a mini rant. I don't know if
Okay,
you
go
watched
ahead.
it because we weren't going to cover it on the show, but Ben Affleck and Matt Damon have their new movie on Netflix that came out last week, The Rip.
Mm,
I won't give any spoilers since I have no idea if you watched it. I
I
thought it
have
was
no
okay. I wasn't necessarily blown away. But this also sparked a rant for me, I guess. Um, because obviously they've been doing a lot of press,
mhm,
and I even hate to shout this out, but they were on the Joe Rogan podcast, and I
mm,
guess he asked them of like, you know, the movie making process now that we're in 2026,
yeah,
streaming and all this. And they basically talked about how, you know, the game has definitely changed and
mhm,
not necessarily for the better. Well, I think the reason the conversation went there is something else that I saw is that they're doing like their a one of a kind deal with Netflix. So is that if the movie is successful, the whole entire like production team gets a cut out of the film. Most movies do not operate like that. You get
right,
paid for however long you need to be there. Once the
right,
movie is done, the movie, even actors, a lot of actors don't, unless you're like a Will Smith.
right,
Tom Cruise, I think, has his own production company. Unless you're like a Will Smith or Robert Downey Jr. or people in that sort of regard, like
yeah,
normally actors, you get your set rate and that's it.
yeah,
So the fact that the whole production team, I'm talking about makeup,
yeah,
wardrobe, all those people are going to get a cut if the movie is successful, is a really big thing. And they were basically talking about that and how, you know, movies aren't made the same. And
mhm,
I think we brought this up in the podcast before of like, because people have ADHD, people
mhm,
don't pay attention, people spend 50% of their time on the phone. When you
yeah,
are watching like an action movie on like a Netflix, they're now before you would have big like action set pieces, maybe like in the second act, and obviously like a big final action set in the third act. Now they have to put one in the first 5 minutes of the movie because people are tuning out at that point. And on top of that, they have to like be very what's the word I'm looking for? Because people's attention is not completely focused on the film, they're constantly like rehashing the events of what's happening. Like before,
Mhm.
I think I said this before.
Yeah, I think you
Movies
have.
and TV have to be show, not tell. But because
Yeah,
people are not paying attention to the screen, they are having
showing
to
and
tell. They
telling.
are having to tell constantly
Yeah,
because it's like if you're someone that's actually paying attention, you're watching this, is like, yo, why are you telling me what's on the screen? I
I
literally
saw
could see it, but people
that.
are not paying attention to that. And
Yeah.
on top of that, um, directors and showrunners don't necessarily have the same sort of like taste level when it comes to how they showcase their stuff. Obviously,
Mm.
you have like your Christopher Nolans of the world who
Mhm.
they're so passionate. Ryan Coogler's, they're so
Yeah,
passionate, like they know exactly what it is that they want to do.
yeah.
But you now have a majority of people, which I was never this type of individual, but majority of people actually watch movies and TV shows on their phone or on their laptop,
I
which
cannot.
your device is not designed for film. Like
Yeah,
it's completely different. Like your TV is designed for watching movies, video games,
right.
well, obviously movie screens are designed for shooting movies, but your mobile devices are not built for that. So directors, depending on who you are, you're not necessarily going to be invested all the way in terms of like, oh, let's make this big, gigantic thing because it's like most people just go watch it on a small little iPhone
That's
and
crazy.
call it a day. Um, and I think with that also, uh, there is a level of frustration and hatred I have for Hollywood because we're a few years out of, the strikes for both the actors and the writers, and we're
Mhm,
seeing the ramifications of them agreeing to certain payment terms with
mhm.
those particular groups of like, yeah, we're pulling the money away. Or there was I don't remember his name, and you probably don't remember him, but there was an actor who was on Breaking Bad. He was
Mhm.
on a podcast and he was talking about like he doesn't necessarily know whether his union is actually doing their job in terms of protecting their actors because now
Mm.
that they're paying more salaries or paying higher salaries, what you're seeing a lot, and I don't know if you've seen this on your feeds, is a lot of productions are not being shot in America anymore. Like
Yeah,
LA is not the hot spot. Even
yeah.
Atlanta is not a hot spot anymore. Like
No.
they're shooting stuff in London, they're shooting stuff in the UK, they're shooting
Yep,
stuff in Canada
yep,
because obviously there's different labor rules and regulations that are over there. And then
yep,
obviously pay is possibly different over there as
yep.
well. And so you're seeing an increase of that as well. So it's like somebody who, if you have a family, you have to ask yourself, like, is it worth me not being with my family for like 8, 9 months out of the year to do this show or movie versus, probably doing something local, but the salary isn't the same.
Mm.
So it's a very fucked up situation. And I hate it so much because I hate capitalism so much. Because
It's ruining everything.
they find
A
every time we
loophole.
make yeah, every time we find some way to like progress as a people
Yeah,
or working force, they find some way to like, oh yeah, we're not doing this no more. Like
yeah.
we're just gonna shoot all our shit in the UK or we're gonna do this over here because we just don't want to pay y'all the wages that y'all are asking for. And it's
Hate that.
mind-boggling. But that was my little rant, and I'm done now.
Okay,
Um, I think we should start with A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms
okay.
because I don't have much to say about that
Ditto,
show. But
ditto.
we'll jump into this really quickly with the synopsis. So, the episode begins with Dunk, a massive but humble squire, burying his master, Sir Alan of Pennytree, in the ring. Left with only a few horses and Arlen's armor, Dunk decides to claim the title of Ser Duncan the Tall and travel to the tournament at Ashford Meadow to seek his fortune. Along the way, he encounters a mysterious, bald headed boy named Egg, who insists on becoming his squire. Dunk initially rejects the boy, but after arriving at the tourney and finding himself overwhelmed by the highborn knights and rigid bureaucracy of the stewards, he ultimately allows Egg to join him. The premiere strikes a distinct tone from its predecessors, trading epic wars for a gritty personal story about the true meaning of knighthood. While Dunk struggles to prove his worth among the elite, the episode establishes a bond between the giant knight and his pint sized squire and concludes with the looming tension of the competition and a subtle hint that Egg is hiding a massive secret regarding his lineage, setting the stage for a much smaller scale, character driven journey through Westeros. What were your initial well, before I ask your initial thoughts, what were your sentiments or any feelings before you even got into the show?
So one, obviously, I love Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is a show that I've loved. I've watched several times. So I love Game of Thrones.
Mhm.
And the complexity of Game of Thrones already is just kinda it's interesting because it's like it's all these different families and units, and they're all kinda connected in some way, and the first time I watched Game of Thrones, I had to have, like, a family tree out because I was so confused on how everybody was so connected.
Mhm.
So, I am excited about, like, all of this Game of Thrones universe where they're having all these spinoffs. I watched The House of Dragons. I love Targaryen. My hair is blonde for a reason. Targaryen. My name is Régine Targaryen, first of her name. So
You got it. No slander. You got it. You got it.
ah! So, yes, I want to see more spinoffs
Mhm.
when it comes to it. Even though I feel like they didn't promote this show as much as they did House of Dragons. Like, when I was talking to my friends, because I make my friends watch it with me yesterday, and I was like, "Yeah, it's a new Game of Thrones show." And they was like, "What?" Like, they kept saying like, "What? What are you talking about? What?" So I'm like, "Dang, is this only on, like, my timeline?" Like, is it not on everybody's timeline where they're promoting it and talking about it? Game of Thrones is such a cult classic, you know? So the fact that people are not hearing about it is so interesting. Then I watched it, I understood. Um, so so yeah, so yeah, I was excited to watch this
Mhm.
because I love Game of Thrones, and also I think this one is in the time frame of, like, when the height of the Targaryens, right before The Last Dragon.
Got
So
it.
with that being said, I'm like I said, I'm a Targaryen myself. So I want to I want to see what's going on in Westeros. What is it? Westeros? Westeros?
Westeros.
Westeros and in King's Landing. I want to see what's going on.
Mhm.
So yeah. So yeah.
So, what were your thoughts about the episode overall?
Okay, so I had to watch it twice. The first time I
Mm,
watched it, I fell asleep immediately. Like
mm,
that intro was so like what like, like, we talk about Game of Thrones intro, like, the pilot, like, the first episode and how, like, it kinda gets you like, "Okay, what's happening?" Because, like, the White Walkers and the snow and all these things, right?
mhm.
That was like, "Okay, so what are we gonna be talking about?" Like, what are we going to be talking about in this season? Like, what's going on? So, that alone just made me so sleepy and tired. I kept waking up, going to sleep, and it was like nothing was happening. Like nothing happened. So when I rewatched it, and then I'm watching it, and I'm like, dang, I kind of watched it in my sleep. Like
Mhm.
nothing happened. Nothing actually happened. The only thing was like the dialogue I missed. Other than that, nothing much happened in this first episode. That makes me want to like get excited for the season.
I thought I was gonna get through this quickly, but I definitely have a lot of thoughts.
Ah,
Um, I think this is just, back to, unfortunately, capitalism
yes,
and the
100%.
in a weird sort of like MCU of it all. I think there's definitely this idea of, wanting to build out this universe, like expand. And that's why we had House of the Dragon.
Yeah.
And now we have this show as well. And then there's been constant rumors of them wanting to do a spin-off. First it was supposed to be Jon Snow, but then that got dropped. And then
Mhm.
now I think recently I saw they want to do one with Arya. So obviously when something is successful, you want to, I guess, bleed it dry as
Yes,
much as you possibly can.
yes.
So when I heard about, oh, we're gonna do another one, it's like, oh, okay, interesting. I've never read the books. I don't know
Mhm.
like all these storylines or whatever the case is. I think I did do research a little bit when this was first announced, and then I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know how much I'm gonna love it because I also feel like there's been an influx of like this the certain trope of like lion and cub of like here's this older person with this younger person and like they're navigating whatever that they have to navigate, and
Yeah.
obviously they learn from each other and they grow because of their journey or whatever. So I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that. Then I watched it, and I think by the time we get to the diarrhea scene, um
Yes.
they made it very clear this is not another Game
I'm
of Thrones
serious.
type of show. Like,
I'm
it's going
serious.
to be a much more dark humor, sort of like coming of age story to a certain extent, but there's definitely gonna be way more dark humor in comparison to like the serious war crime, war focused drama that we're used to. Which is interesting because I think this is the same issue that Marvel had of like
How did we get
for
here?
for a certain period of time, Marvel had a very specific superhero sort of like movie template of like, here's
Mhm.
how a superhero movie is shot. Marvel's just gonna rinse and repeat, do that over
Mhm.
and over again or whatever. Then you could say whether, fans started to be annoyed about it or they just wanted to switch something up right around the pandemic and a little bit or since the pandemic, they've been trying to do different stuff with that. Some misses, some positives from that. And I think this
Yeah.
is like Game of Thrones attempt at that of like, hey, we're going to do a different type of story where, yes, you're so used to Westeros and the Seven Kingdoms and all the Iron Throne and all these different things. What if we actually had a story that just focused on a smaller group of characters and their actual journey throughout whatever it is that they're going to be dealing with? And so not only are you trying to do that, it's also going to be in a different tone. Like you could find things humorous in Game of Thrones, but there was nothing in Game of Thrones that's intentionally supposed to be funny. Versus
Yes.
here, you have this bumbling fool of Duncan, but he has a heart of gold, basically. And so
That doesn't
there,
make sense in this universe. Nobody has a heart of gold in this universe but
yeah.
the children.
So I think they're basically like, hey, we could do Game of Thrones, but it doesn't have to be the same rinse and repeat. This family hates this family. Like we could do other shit too. And it's only one episode. I don't know
Yeah.
how effective they're going to be. I think another thing that kind of like stood out to me was when the um number of episodes was announced, they also announced the length, and like we're used to an hour
Right.
per episode. So once you told me it's 30 minutes, it was like, oh, it's 30 minutes and it's only 6 episodes. It's a tough
How much
sell. It's
you
a
get?
tough sell.
Yeah.
It's really a tough sell.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't really have that many notes. The
Mm.
diarrhea scene was a bit much. I
Yeah, I
don't know if
hated
that was
it.
necessary. Like I mentioned, it's definitely a bit more comical and not as serious, in comparison to, the more drama focused, House of Dragons and Game of Thrones. And because it's a different genre to a certain extent, it makes sense why they're only doing 30 minutes. And if I'm not mistaken, and I could be wrong because I don't know the books like that, the story of Sir Duncan and Egg are more so like stories that were told in the Game of Thrones book versus like
Mhm.
this is legit, like these are actual events that were
Mhm.
written down. This is more so like, stories that were passed down from generation to
Like
generation.
folktales
Yeah,
almost.
folk tales. So
Yeah.
I don't know how much of like source material that they have to like really make this a serious drama if it wasn't that case in the original books. And
Yeah.
that also makes me believe like this is probably like 1, 2 seasons the most. Like I don't see this being like a 3, 4 season sort of thing, which might be the right approach, honestly, because like the Game of Thrones books, if I'm not mistaken, is primarily focused on the actual show. minus the final season,
Yeah.
or the final few seasons. And so House of the Dragon and now even United the Seven Kingdoms is stuff that's, discussed in the book, but not like legit events that are happening in in real time. So it's like, oh, here's these elements that we have. Let's build something out of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I see this as 1, 2 seasons the most, and it's like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. My only other comment on here was like, I hope it doesn't become a thing where because he's so tall, like him needing to eat a lot of food is like the trope throughout. Because that was a very
Mm,
specific thing that they had in the first episode of like he needs food. Obviously, like he's broke. He ain't really got nothing.
yeah.
Like, here's this coming of age story of like, here's this squire who grew up under this really abusive knight, but still has like this moral compass or this moral
Yeah.
foundation. And he's essentially going to grow and prove himself to actually be like a true knight. Because in the original Game of Thrones, like we didn't really see that many great knights. Like most of the knights were,
Jamie.
abusive. Yeah, Jamie, abusive towards women,
Yeah.
abusive,
Or
abusive toward
Brienne.
his sister. Brienne of Tarth, like she's one
Yeah.
of the few. Jon
Yeah.
Snow, one of the few
Yeah.
good knights, but most of the other
Yeah.
knights that we see are like scoundrels.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it is what it is. And then obviously we're going to see Egg and his growth. I don't know if I should mention this because it's basically a spoiler, but
Okay.
I'll keep it to myself. I'll keep it to
Yeah,
myself.
yeah,
Mm.
hold
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. I'll keep it to myself.
Hold that
But
thought.
yeah, that's all I really had for this.
Yeah,
I didn't really there was really not that much to like jot down and like
because nothing like I said, nothing really happened. Like, nothing was really happening. It's like I think it's interesting for the story to be like a orphan that grows up to becoming a knight, and then he kinda in some way is another. Like, he's an orphan, like, the person that he looked up to, he's orphan again, like, the person that he looked up to who raised him and all of that, he's dead, so, like, now he doesn't really know what to do at all, like, he's really just trying to figure it out, and then on his journey of figuring it out, he finds another orphan coincidentally,
mhm.
and now right, and now he scares me first, I'm not gonna lie. He scares me. Egg scares me. He came on my screen, I was like, "Whoa, okay." But it's just like now you're about to somehow teach this, like, kinda do what happened to you in reverse, which is like, I don't know if I care about that story.
Yeah.
Um so yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
it's
it's a
it
tough
it's
sell.
interesting. It really is. Even like the characters, like in the end where he's talking to, I think it's like Lionel Baratheon,
Mhm.
and he's like talking to him, trying to get advice. And he's like, you can tell like he's really just want to get advice from this guy. Like somehow they've they've clutched onto each other. And like you can tell, but this guy's actually so drunk, he's just talking. And I'm
Yeah,
happy that they actually say that in the scene, like, yeah, no, I'm just drunk. Like, I don't know what I'm talking about.
yeah. It just shows
So
his lack of guidance.
yeah, literally, like, he's a green bean, that's what we would call it
Mhm.
in today, like, he's 100% a green bean, and it doesn't even seem like he knows what a knight does. I don't know if he can actually fight, like, and that's something interesting that I'm interested to see that part of it all, like,
Yeah,
how you calling yourself a knight, but you don't really know how to even use that sword for real.
I think that's why it's going to be a tough watch for me because it's
Yeah,
in a weird way, I feel like it's gonna be predictable of like, here's this squire, again, grew up under this knight who clearly wasn't the best knight, like, he was
yeah,
abusing him the whole time. And yes, he may have learned things from him, but maybe not necessarily the right things per se.
right,
And so now he has to like he's essentially the biggest man in the room, but he's as small as a mouse because he lacks confidence. He has no
mhm,
heritage. He has no alliance to any family of any kind.
yeah,
Even the knight that he was a squire to, nobody knows him.
at
So
all.
now he's gonna go through this whole entire thing and essentially find himself, and then the man who was of no name will now establish his name. So I don't know. It is what it is. We'll see. It's only 6 episodes, 30 minutes. I've watched worse, so I ain't gonna I ain't gonna be mad at it, but I'm also like
Yeah.
I came in with kind of low expectations, so
Yeah.
I don't know if I don't know if I'm gonna be mad if I don't know if I'll be disappointed per se. I'll be like, oh, okay, y'all gave it a shot, didn't really execute. More power to y'all.
Yeah.
I gave it. Well, before I even say that, um, I guess it's an announcement or news flash, whatever. So obviously we do like our 5-star. I be forgetting to tell you stuff. I be just like making decisions
It's
sometimes on the
okay.
fly,
It's fine.
and
Tell me
it'd be
why.
low, and it'd be and it'd be like it'd be like low key things. That's why I don't be wanting to bother you. But
It's
instead of like doing a 5-star system, like we just
okay.
could do, we just do a remote system. We could give it, one remote, two remotes, three and a half
Okay.
remotes, whatever, whatever. That was the only reason why. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So I give it two
Okay.
remotes out of 5 because it was eh, and the whole diarrhea scene was very unnecessary. They ain't
Yeah.
even. I mean, they did some crazy shit in the original show, but like, I'm cool on that. Like, I didn't need that.
Yeah.
You could have insinuated that without like showing
The
droppings.
shit coming out his ass.
Yeah, like that was a lot. That was a lot.
Yeah. I thought it was just I mean, I understood like why, like he had this big speech to himself, and then like the anxiety of it all just made him do it. Like I get that, but not
I
in
don't
the
even.
intro.
I don't even think it was for
It,
that reason. I think it was to clearly showcase the audience. This is not your Game of Thrones that you're used to, because they literally play the Game of Thrones theme song and
yes.
then cut scene to him having diarrhea. I think that
Yeah.
was a clear sign to the audience, like, don't
This
think
ain't
you're
bad.
going to see a bunch of dragons, a bunch of, various families or whatever. Like, this is a very focused story, and it's probably going to be more humorous than you're used to. But whatever.
Mm.
Whatever.
I
More power to them.
I don't like that. I just don't. Like, we love Game of Thrones for a reason, you know? Like, sometimes formulas work, like in math, this is perfect examples.
Mhm.
Math, you have formulas that are passed on from ages and ages and ages because they work. No matter how you plug and chug it, it's gonna work.
Mhm.
In life, sometimes things do vary, yes. But sometimes the formula works. Ain't nothing wrong with changing up the formula.
I get that, but then it's also like there's so many things at play. Obviously, you have executives who, are the final decision makers. And then you also have, like, I don't know if Game of Thrones ever dealt with this, but you see like other genres of shows, um, you know, they'll have outstanding performances, but
Yeah,
because it's a specific genre, they don't get the kind of credit that they should get
yeah,
because of, how people, or typically the old white folks, like to vote when it comes time to start voting. Because I
yeah,
mean, I'm sure there's been plenty of instances where you could consider somebody who's in a Marvel TV show or Marvel movie to like deserve an award, but it's like, oh, this is comic book content. Why you
yeah,
guys ain't getting stuff like that? So I
yeah.
wouldn't be surprised if Game of Thrones suffered some of that as well. Of like, this is fantasy. Like, why are we voting for fantasy? So it's like
Okay,
sometimes you got to switch it up to like, oh,
I get
okay,
that.
we're not just recycling the same thing over and over again.
I
But
hear
whatever.
that. I hear
How
that.
many how many remotes you giving it?
It's just 2 is being generous. 2 is being generous. I would have to give it a 1.5.
Okay. Listen, man.
I
It,
would
it
have to give it a
happens.
1.5. Like I
It
said, I
happens.
fell asleep on it. It's only 30 minutes, and I fell asleep on it. That says enough, and then when I watched it again, I felt like I watched it in my sleep, basically.
Hey, man. Hey,
That says enough.
it is
That
what
says
it
enough for
is.
me.
Um, the general public, surprisingly, obviously, this is a rating system out of 10 for them. They
Mm,
gave it a 8.7.
good for them. Good for them.